The cryptocurrency market is catching up, especially with so many new investors viewing cryptocurrencies as a new class of investment. Many cryptocurrencies are just speculative assets and they don't have any utility whatsoever. But there is another one in the top 10 list that actually has a lot of real-world utility, and it is also backed up by financial institutions. Yes, we're talking about XRP. So what did the IMF CEO have to say about the XRP lawsuit? Let's discuss just that. Welcome back to Crypto Geeks. In today's video, we'll be looking into the Securities and Exchange Commission's lawsuit against Ripple and what the IMF has to say about the whole situation. But before we get started, make sure to smash that subscribe button for your chance to win our monthly giveaway. Just comment down below, "I subbed," and you'll be entered into the crypto giveaway. Check out About to find out what this month's giveaway is. Let's get started. Before discussing XRP, we need to discuss Ripple because Ripple happens to be a technology company that acts both as a blockchain and as a digital payment network for financial transactions. It was released way back in 2012, and the entire reason why we have Ripple today is because it will act as a payment settlement asset exchange and remittance system similar to that of SWIFT system that we have for international money and security transfers, which is used by banks and financial institutions across the world. XRP is the native token of the Ripple network. These tokens are pre-mined, and we have about 100 billion of them in total, out of which the circulating supply is more than 46 billion coins during the making of this video. The purpose of XRP is to serve as an intermediate mechanism of exchange between two currencies or networks as a sort of temporary settlement layer denomination. Instead of using traditional blockchain mining, Ripple will be using a consensus mechanism where a group of bank-owned servers confirm transactions. This means that Ripple's transactions will use less energy compared to Bitcoin, and a transaction can be confirmed in less than 6 seconds. The transaction costs are also extremely low with the Ripple network, which makes it a very attractive option for financial institutions for value exchanges across the world. To understand how Ripple works, you need to consider the money transfer structure where two parties on the other end of the transaction use their preferred middleman to receive the money. Ripple acts as a middleman here, and it will be using XRP to convert from one currency to the other. Ripple is also a company that will be improving some of the drawbacks that were attributed to traditional banking systems because of the fact that transactions are settled within seconds on the Ripple network. With the wire transfer, we're looking at days or weeks for the money to get transferred. So yes, Ripple's solution makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. But then there's a problem, and that problem is something that has to do with the Securities and Exchange Commission. When you look back to December 21st, 2020, the Securities and Exchange Commission filed a high-profile enforcement case against Ripple. The complaint alleges violations of federal security laws by the defendant, Ripple Labs Inc., commonly known as Ripple. Ripple is a very well-established company, for those of you who don't know, and its founders are regarded as pioneers in the cryptocurrency industry. The SEC complaint alleges that Ripple sold its XRP tokens as an unregistered security, which means that XRP is a security and not a commodity or any other type of asset, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission, because it is generated, distributed, and sold by Ripple in a very centralized manner. Centralization is one major reason why we had cryptocurrencies in the first place. The outcome of the Ripple case will largely depend on whether XRP is an investment contract under US securities laws, thus making it subject to registration requirements under the Securities Act of 1933. The US Supreme Court's decision in SEC provides that an investment contract exists when there is an investment of money in a common enterprise with a reasonable expectation of profits to be derived from the efforts of others. The Securities and Exchange Commission already indicated that cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum are not securities because they are completely decentralized, which happens to be one of the key advantages of the blockchain technology. When you look at Bitcoin, it is a blockchain that happens to be a distributed ledger that maintains a permanent and immutable record of all transactions with Bitcoin. At least theoretically, we don't have any central entity that mines or distributes Bitcoin. Instead, all transactions with Bitcoin are verified by miners across the world, which is why Bitcoin is not considered as a security but as an actual cryptocurrency asset. Ripple is viewed differently by the Securities and Exchange Commission because of the fact that the development of the distribution of XRP tokens are conducted in a severely centralized way. The Securities and Exchange Commission states that the entire supply of XRP were mined at its launch. Ripple will be seeking a review of the SEC's internal discussion about XRP and whether the SEC believes that it was an investment contract. At this point, the entire lawsuit looks like a big joke, and we have so many observers and analysis of the cryptocurrency market that have been very critical of the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple. For some, this lawsuit will mean that it would drive away new technology in the finance industry that would have made XRP more accessible to people. Then we have other investors that claim that there is no harm to any investors with a lawsuit like this, and they also believe that the team behind XRP is a legitimate technology company with a market capitalization of more than $50 billion. This particular lawsuit against Ripple will also have a significant impact on the future of regulation of cryptocurrencies, along with blockchain and financial technology applications in general that operate using similar technologies to that of XRP. It makes a lot of sense for the Securities and Exchange Commission to implement reasonable and measured regulations for cryptocurrencies because they are completely decentralized and they are not controlled by anybody. The government should also provide a framework for the regulation of cryptocurrencies and other digital assets because digital currencies are the future moving forward, and we have already embraced the digital future with everything that we do today. A balanced regulatory framework would ideally benefit the crypto industry by providing a roadmap for future compliance and predictability about permitted activities. The outcome of this entire Ripple lawsuit is quite uncertain, and discussions are still going on. The Securities and Exchange Commission seeks to protect the public and ensure compliance with security laws, but it also seems to understand what blockchain technology can do in so many different industries. Moving forward, cryptocurrency proprietors must stay up to date with the rapidly developing laws and regulations in this space and should consult experienced cryptocurrency or securities counsel with any questions. Now, what exactly did the Director of Communication Department of the Internal Monetary Fund say about XRP? Well, take a look for yourself. Well, you can see that Jerry Rice stated that cryptocurrencies can pose significant risks and that effective regulatory measures are very important when dealing with cryptocurrencies. This does make a lot of sense, but who exactly is Jerry Rice? Well, Jerry Rice was appointed as the Director of Communications Department at the International Monetary Fund in December of 2011. He also served as the Deputy Director for COM from 2011 to 2016. As the Director of COM, Jerry Rice was responsible for the IMF strategy and external engagement with the media and the fund's key stakeholders, including legislators, parliaments, civil society groups, labor representatives, and academics, as well as the fund's internal communications. The director works closely with the managing director and senior fund management on the communication of IMF operations, including policy and lending decisions. That being said, it makes a lot of sense for a lot of people to invest in Ripple and its cryptocurrency because these coins are extremely affordable for anyone who is looking forward to investing in cryptocurrencies without losing a lot of money. Ripple's XRP has also got a lot of real-world utility, unlike other cryptocurrency projects that we have in the crypto market. Ripple solves problems for large financial institutions by speeding up the flow of capital, which is excellent for any economy. Ripple will also work with small business owners too, especially if the network becomes widely adopted. The large market capitalization of XRP is also a very strong sign of investors' confidence, and this makes this asset more appealing to a lot of investors. Ripple is more than just a cryptocurrency or a technology company because it is actually a full-fledged company with more than 500 full-time employees, including public relations managers and marketing specialists. Ripple is also backed by so many financial institutions worldwide, even though cryptocurrencies are not a favorite among central banks. You should also not forget the fact that XRP are not decentralized, unlike other altcoins that we have in the market. Ripple's biggest rival has to be Swift, which is currently the largest international payment network, and it also happens to be the preferred choice for about 11,000 financial institutions worldwide. Ripple needs to convince a lot more financial institutions by proving that it can offer a better, quicker, and much safer solution than the Swift payment networks that we have today. Most investors come down to the risk versus reward factor, and this video was never meant to be financial advice. It is all about providing infotainment value. Any investments that you make in cryptocurrencies must be made at your own risk, because the entire cryptocurrency market is extremely volatile and anything can happen with your investments, so make your decisions wisely. With that, we've come to an end with our video. What do you think about the lawsuit against XRP? Was this just a setup considering the utility of XRP? Do let us know in the comment section because we would love to hear from you all. Consider subscribing to our channel for more content just like this one, and while you're at it, turn on post notifications so that you never miss out on any of our future uploads. That's about it for today. Catch y'all in the next one.